Hey everybody, I'm the Board Otaku, and today I will be bringing you all a manga review of Arpeggio of Blue Steel. Now before I even start with anything, I already have a single complaint. Your standard mangas are about 5 inches by 7.5 inches. That's your standard English print manga. This thing, however, is not that. It's about 1/4 of an inch smaller. So if you're like me, and you like having everything line up perfectly, it's not going to happen. So about 15 years ago, because of global warming, ocean levels started rising up. Because of this, a lot of the shorelines and a lot of the islands were completely obliterated from the planet. Now that's pretty bad, but see, the problem doesn't really end there. Around the same time all this is happening, the mysterious fleet of fog shows up out of nowhere. A whole bunch of ships, submarines, warcraft vehicles that just show up. Where do they come from? What are they doing? We don't know. All that we do know is that they don't like us that much. You see, our own ships, even our aircraft vehicles, yeah, they keep shooting them down. So after a while, we start to realize that maybe we shouldn't be going out into the water anymore. And that's what we do. We stay here. We don't move anywhere. So because of that, trade lines run dry. Humankind is stuck in their own little ecosystems. There's no more travel. There's no more trade. We're pretty much screwed. And because of this, infrastructures are falling. It's not good for anyone, really. Okay, so let's recap a bit here. We have rising ocean levels, less land mass, ghost ships that are blowing up everything. We can't travel. We can't trade. We're pretty much screwed. And on top of everything, of course, these ships are completely immune to everything we've had or ever have had, ever. It's not a good day to be a human. But of course it doesn't stop there, because this is a manga, and it won't be a manga unless something weird and crazy happens above what everything I just said. But it seems 2 years ago, these special ships have developed another ability, something that nobody has ever seen before in their life. But it's not for every ship. No, it's just for the high-ranking ships in the Fleet of Fog. They have actually been able to take their mental ship abilities and transform themselves into a physical form. So let me ask you, YouTube, if you're writing a manga about ships that appear out of nowhere that could take on a physical form, what form would you have them take? The answer, of course, is little girls. Yeah, I will give the manga this. It doesn't try to overtly sexualize these girls, which is fantastic. And I don't really understand why it is that every time I read a manga that happens to have little girls in it, I have to pray and hope that by the end of it, I don't feel like a pedophile. I know it's kind of weird thinking about that, but really, like, is it really that hard to get a manga these days that doesn't make you feel like you're on some sort of government watch list at the end of it? It's really rare. Okay, so now with all that, we can finally fast forward to when this manga actually begins. We now have these giant ghost ships roaming the seas, blowing up all of humanity, that now have the ability to turn into little girls. However, where do we go from here? The answer is very quite simple. One of the ships decides to defect from the Fleet of Fog. They want to help the humans. So we have our ship. The mental node is the name for these girls, what they are. This one in particular is named Iona. So here we have Iona. She pops up in front of our main protagonist, Gunzo, and says, "Hey, you want to join me and we could fight back against the Fleet of Fog?" And he says, "Sure, let me get my friends and we'll climb aboard inside of you. We'll have a great time." Now, I don't know about you, if the world was being plagued by a fleet of ghost ships that just appeared out of nowhere one day, I would hope that even if one of them does defect to the human side, they would go with, I don't know, the government, someone that could properly handle and use it. And of course, I'll give you one guess who winds up with the one weapon that could save humanity against the invaders. Did you say high school students? Congratulations, you're right. It's fantastic, isn't it? This manga's writing itself. I don't even have to be here. Okay, to be fair, the kids that do wind up with humanity's last hope at least knows how to properly use and weaponize a submarine. So it's not that bad, but still. So now we could talk a bit about the characters that are actually in this manga. First one being Iona, the ship herself. And then we have Gunzo, the team leader. Now, before I talk about the other characters, I just want to bring to attention once again that I am a white dude, and I will butcher every single one of these names. So, continue with viewer discretion. So, of the 4 crew members in addition to Gunzo, 3 of them are his former classmates. So basically, when the ship appeared in front of him and said, "Hey, climb inside of me," he said, "Let me go get my friends. They might be qualified." The first one I want to talk about is Iori. She's the ship's mechanic. Now, I know what you're thinking. "Otaku, why does an unmanned magical ghost ship need a mechanic?" The answer to that is, I have no idea. Another one of his classmates is Kioi. He is a weapons expert. And again, I know what you're thinking. Bartotaki, why does an unmanned automatic ghost ship need a weapons expert? Can it just fire missiles on its own command? And the answer to that is yes. Okay, so the next character I want to talk about, his name is Sho, and he's the first mate. He wears a mask at all times. Just a mask. That's his character. Okay, I don't know about you, but if I was on a submarine, a submerged, airtight, pressurized containment, 37,000 feet below sea level, I wouldn't want to be with a guy that refuses to show me what his face looks like. So looking at history, I'm not even going to talk about manga and anime, I'm going to be talking about just media history. The amount of people that wear masks that also end up being deranged psychopathic killers, very high. You could actually put a plot point between mask and killer and they'll intersect perfectly. I wonder what was going through this guy's head when he invited his classmates to come along with him and he turned to this guy and said, hey, I trust you. Do you want to come with me? And Deadmau5 is over there like, yeah, let's go. I mean, let's think about that for a second here. Hey man, I know this is going to sound crazy, but just hear me out. How would you like to come with me into a confined metal object, thousands and thousands of feet below sea level, to fight against man's greatest threat? I mean, I'm looking at you, and you look very trustworthy, so come on. Yeah, you know what, I'm sure that'll work just fine. The last crew member, seaman if you would, is a girl named Suzuka, and she works the sonar and the sensories on the ship. Okay, I know I've been bringing this up a lot, and I'm sorry, but I just have to. I know what you're thinking. Bartotaku, why does a sentient, fully automatic alien ghost ship need a crew for? Well, YouTube, I have no idea. Like, I honestly cannot understand why these people are here. I understand that this ship defected from the Fleet of Fog to go fight against it with humanity. I understand that. Why are these people here doing that? I don't understand. Why does she need people? I don't understand. Is it just like that tangent little bit of hope that's just out there and you want to reach for it? And she's like, yeah, people come inside of me. God, I'm going to be on a list. I will give the manga one final point before I cast the verdict of this review. And this is something that most mangas fail to do, and every time somebody does it, I am so happy to see it. This manga does not treat you, the reader, like a complete and total idiot. Okay, let me expand on this a little bit. The manga takes place in a submarine. I am not very aware of the workings of a submarine. I don't know what the things do. I don't know what the bleeps do. I don't know what the... Like, I don't get that stuff. And I'm okay with that because I have never once been in a position in my life where I needed to operate a submarine. However, these people in the manga do. They operate a submarine. They know how to do it. When Gonzo says, hey, fire the sonic torpedoes, they don't stop and explain, well, this is a sonic torpedo, this is what this does. We load it into here, and then we press this button and it goes. No, because they know how to do that. There is a lot of terminology in this manga. Like, a lot. I was actually impressed. But they don't stop and explain it to you because the characters know what all of it is. And it doesn't even break the immersion. That's what I love about it, alright? It's beautifully done. If you want to find out what all this stuff means, we have a glossary. You could go through, you could read everything, boom, it's right there for you. You're done. You're caught up. More mangas need to do this. They don't have to rely on exposition. The weapon expert should know how to fire the weapon because, spoiler alert, he's the weapons expert. He doesn't need the captain to explain to him how to do it or why he should do it. He should just do it, and that's what they do. Okay, as for final thoughts on this manga, I personally enjoyed it. However, I am not going to be giving it a read it now. At the very first issue at least, they have some room to grow. Definitely. And it was a good read. I would recommend it, but it does not get a read it now. If anything, I would highly recommend putting this on your backlog. If you have other things that you're reading right now, you stick with that. But definitely think about picking this up. I think it's worth a read. Thank you all for watching. This was my first review back and it kind of feels good. Hopefully I'll be getting another review up within the next couple days. Until then, I am the Bored Otaku. Thank you for watching, and I am signing out.